Hi, I'm John Finkenberg. I'm the current NAS Advocacy Chairman, and we have a wonderful opportunity today. Representative Tom Price, MD, orthopedic surgeon for over 20 years, currently serves on the House Ways and Means Committee as well as the Budget Committee. He's a big proponent for patient-centered health care. He sits on the GOP Republican Doctors Caucus and has authored HR 3000, Empowering Patients First Act, which we're going to have him talk a little bit about today. Please welcome Tom Price, and thank you for being here today.
Thanks, John. Thanks. Wonderful to be with you. It's great to be able to talk to some of my former colleagues and folks who are out there trying to take care of patients.
There you go. I do have a couple of questions that I'm going to let him chat about. We're not going to get overly concerned with going into depth on many things, but I do want him to really talk a little bit about certain subjects that are really important to members of NAS right now. One of the things on the top of our screen right now is Medicare reimbursement. And you have heard this for years and years now, temporary fixes to the SGR and things like that. Obviously we're coming into January and one of these is going to happen again. I know you've sent out a letter with Representative Bustani asking possibly for a 5-year fix, which is certainly better than anything we've had for some time. And also asking for the possibilities of incorporating Medicare Economic Index into it, as that really parallels more costs of business, which is really important to all the physicians. And then maybe even a consideration for private contracting with Medicare recipients. So maybe you'd like to talk a little bit about that.
Well, thanks, John, and again, great to be with you. The whole SGR issue is one that the Congress has just kicked down the road for too long. Remember that it was a Washington fix. It was a solution when it started. It was the solution to how to compensate or pay physicians for caring for seniors. But it doesn't work at all. And the formula is so flawed that now we're about 10 years into this time where we've delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And so now the fix, the cost for it is about $316 billion for a 10-year period of time. Well, look, now we spend about $1 trillion of money in the discretionary side, which is where this ends up, and we're just not going to find $316 billion in reduction. So the solution, I believe, is to find pots of money that are out there that we're not going to spend, but that the Congressional Budget Office still counts. And there are two big ones. One is what Senator Coburn talks about. It's the rescission money. About $700 billion. This is money that's been appropriated but not spent over the last number of decades. It's a long, long time. So I don't know that it's that much. I think it's probably closer to $400 billion, but we've got to be able to wipe that $316 billion off the table so that we can get to an appropriate solution. Medical Economic Index is one of them, and there's some other things that I'll touch on. The second big pot of money is what's called overseas contingency operations. That's the money for Afghanistan and Iraq. The Congressional Budget Office slates that it will cost about $800 billion over the next 10 years. They get to that because they say it cost $80 billion last year, times 10, $800 billion. Now, nobody believes we're going to spend $800 billion in Afghanistan and Iraq over the next 10 years. So there's another opportunity there to utilize an asset that's on the books to do away with the SGR, which is what has to happen.
Now, your colleagues across the aisle, do they see those as possible pots to look into, or?
They're more favorable to the latter one, to the OCO, to the Overseas Contingency Operation. Our side tends to be more favorable to the rescission, but there's a group of individuals who don't like either of them because they say it's just funny money. Well, from my perspective, and I suspect yours as well, and the folks watching this, look, we're never not going to pay physicians to care for seniors. That's my goal, obviously. So we've got to make certain that we have a system that works and doesn't drive doctors out of the practice of medicine, which is where we are right now. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get to a solution. You mentioned the bill with Dr. Bustani from Louisiana that we put forward a couple months ago, and it is an effort to try to bring people to the table, to say let's use the Medical Economic Index for 5 years, put in place a process to be able to solve the challenge so that we move away from the sustainable growth rate, which is neither sustainable nor growing.